In today's list, I want to talk about 5 of my favorite Creed fragrances. This video is long overdue. I had to do it for a long time now. I've planned it for a few months ago actually, and it never came into existence until now. So yeah, let's get into the list. My first one on the list, the number 5 basically, is Viking Cologne, which is probably a quite controversial pick, you could say, because Viking Cologne is, what you need to know, one of the less liked one in the game, especially for a brand like Creed. The problem is it's kind of a bit basic, you could say. It's a very classical, fresh, aromatic, citrusy men's fragrance. This barbershop type of thing. It has this Creed thing going on. So the Creed type of base that they do. There's no ambergris in here, which is Creed's signature. They have a very unique and beautiful smelling ambergris note. Starts with citruses in the top, and in this case it's mandarin orange, and then bergamot and lemon. Also pepper in the top, and then you have this middle or heart of aromatic florals, which are not typical floral notes. They are rather aromatic, so more manly, masculine, you could say. And then in the base you have woods and or vetiver and patchouli. In this case it's both, and the woods being sandalwood and cedarwood. And it all smells so natural and beautiful in this case. That's why I love this fragrance. It is not the biggest performer as well, so that's probably another point, which is why people don't like this one very much. But I think it's okay for a summer freshie. You get your 4 to 6 hours with this. Yeah, a bit on the weaker side, but still a very beautiful fragrance. I think I have some sympathy points for this one. Might have as well been Green Irish Tweed or Himalaya. A few ones which could have been on this list instead of this one. Check this out if you can. Keep in mind, this is a Creed list, so all the fragrances are rather expensive. So yeah, just keep that in mind. On number 4 we have the one and only Aventus. Still beautiful and still love to wear this actually. Aventus, everyone knows this DNA, everyone knows, no, at least the DNA, not this smell in particular, because it's very expensive, as you know. Performance has been up and down throughout the years. Batch variety with this one is the thing, because some people hate that. I have not a big problem with it because I think it's a very minor concern. Also never been the biggest fan of the very smoky, dark and yeah, pineapple heavy batches. I've never cared so much. I love Aventus for the citrusy smell, which has been more the focus point in the 2018 to 21 batches. And yeah, this is one of them. This is 2020, I think, or 21, I'm not sure. 21 in particular being a very weak batch. This one has like 6 to 7 hours max, which is rather weak. Aventus used to be known as a fragrance that performs like 10, 11, 12 hours, which was awesome for a fresh fragrance, because this is rather fresh. It has sweet notes, it has some woody notes, but it's a rather fresh fragrance. You can rock this whenever, wherever, it doesn't matter, because it performs in the cold, it performs in the heat, and it still does to this day. Actually, the newer batches have a metal cap, which is cool. And also they perform very good, I've heard. I'm not sure though, never tested them. This one, not the biggest performer, but I love this batch. It's very citrusy and fresh. Bergamot in the top, you have black currant in the top, apple. And then in the heart you have pineapple and some floral, I'm not sure anymore. And then in the base you have cedarwood and musk and the Creed ambergris magic, of course. That is Creed Aventus. Beautiful fragrance, still one of the kings in my opinion, on my number 4 spot. It was never my number 1 favorite Creed fragrance, at least not after I've smelled a few Creed fragrances, but it was always one of my favorite fragrances ever, and it's on my number 4 spot. One problem with Aventus, of course, is the image is kind of faded nowadays, to the point where some people wouldn't really believe you that you're wearing actually Creed Aventus when you buy this, because there are so many well done dupes out there, but I think nothing comes close to the actual original, because you smell the quality with this one, and that's what Creed is known for. So therefore, I still suggest getting Aventus if you like this DNA. And if you like this type of DNA, I still think that Aventus is the best one and the one to go for. So, Creed Aventus number 4. One of my absolute favorite Creed fragrances ever. Has not always been like that. When I smelled it for the first time, there was this distinct smell of almost like sweat smelling that I hated about this one. But then over time I re-smelled the sample that I had back then, and I smelled it and smelled it, and then there was something about it that I liked. It's one of my hate then love fragrances basically. And yeah, what you have with this, I've talked about this one I think actually 2 times already on this channel, or 1 time, I'm not sure. And Viking is basically this very masculine, woody, slightly spicy and sweet, but then also citrusy and a little fresh fragrance. You have to check this out, at least try this one, especially for a man. I'm not sure for girls, but yeah, if you're a man, you have to check this one out just to know how this smells. This is, I think this is one of the fragrances that you have to have smelled when you are a man and you are focusing on fragrances in your life, or you love fragrance in general. Give this one a go. It's a very beautiful fragrance. Creed Viking on my number 3. On number 2, we have Spice and Wood from the Royal Exclusive line of Creed fragrances, and that is the name because this is basically their private blend type of thing, you could say. There are some beautiful ones in this very line of fragrances actually. One of them being Sublime Vanille, which is not in this list, but I have a decant of that one, about 10 milliliters. I used to own 75 ml of that, but I sold it. A very beautiful fragrance actually, and I almost kept it, but decided that I thought it's a bit too feminine smelling for my personal taste. Therefore, I decided to not keep it. Different though is Spice and Wood. This is very much masculine. This is probably the embodiment, the literal epitome, the quintessence of old money. This is, yeah, if there's a smell to money, I think it's what this smells like. This is basically, some people say it's Aventus even more luxuriously made. Kind of agree, kind of disagree. Basically a woody fragrance, but then with fresh notes, and it's so soft and light, but at the same time it's very distinct and actually punching. So you can smell it when it's in the air. It's not grabbing for attention. It's actually very subtle. It's probably one of the most elegant fragrances that you can smell on the market. It's a bit powdery because there's iris in here in the base, along cedar and oak moss. Creed is known for making a beautiful woody note with cedar. So in the heart of the fragrance you have this spiciness going on with the clove and pepper. Again, woodiness with birch, and also there's a note called Angelica in here, which is this very spicy note, slightly green and fresh. Very beautiful. And then in the top you have citruses like bergamot and lemon, and also green apple. It is very expensive, you have to keep that in mind, but it's very much worth the price in my opinion. And I've actually still not decided if it's on my number 1, because the next one is yeah, one of my, probably my number 1 fragrance ever. My number 1, of course, Royal Oud. This is not only my number 1 Creed fragrance, this is also my number 1 favorite fragrance ever. Again, very elegant, very old money smelling. It's woody, it's fresh, it's musky, and along all of that, it's peppery. And I love this slight pepperiness that you have in fragrances sometimes. And this one nails it. It's not a real actual oud fragrance, I think, but there is oud in there. You have oud in the base along with musk and sandalwood. Sandalwood being very prominent because this turns slightly sweet over the time, which is very beautiful and one of the main aspects I love about this fragrance. And then in the heart you have again cedarwood, galbanum and angelica again, which is the same note that I've talked about in Spice and Wood, which is this spicy green thing. Then in the middle you have loads of cedarwood, which is the most prominent note in this fragrance actually. And finally in the top you have loads of pink pepper, bergamot and lemon. The base actually smells very similar to Spice and Wood, but then the top notes change everything because this is not creamy and powdery, unlike Spice and Wood. This is more pepper and spice heavy, you could say. Not actually spice heavy, but it's literally pepper heavier than Spice and Wood, and also a bit fresher. So you have to check this out. It's a bit more expensive than the regular Creed fragrances like Aventus and stuff. But yeah, I think it's very much worth the price, even at the high price tag it has, because this is so unique. I've never smelled an actual good cologne of this, and I probably never will, because this is the real thing and nothing comes close. Royal Oud by Creed is my #1 favorite fragrance ever, and my #1 on this Creed list, and I hope you enjoyed this list. Hope to see you in the next one, guys. Peace out and bye bye.